So Willow episode 4, is it better than the previous 3? Yes, I think it was. I think it was better. I think it had the potential to be absolutely brilliant. That's what makes this infuriating and hard to watch. So we follow on from the end of episode 3 and we make it to Bavmorda's castle. And basically what we have is the setup for a really interesting episode. The type of episodes that I used to love in old sci-fi TV shows like Stargate or Stargate Atlantis, Star Trek Enterprise. Isolated location, eclectic crew that we could possibly learn more about throughout this episode, as well as driving the story forward. And that's exactly what I thought we were going to get, but we didn't get that. Now that doesn't mean it was an absolutely abysmal episode. I have to say it was probably the one that I enjoyed most so far. Basically the premise of this episode is Graydon is possessed and he's infected and it's contagious, and we got some really terrible dialogue flowing through the whole thing.
Cook down its spleen and voila, essence of. Is that what you put in your muffins? Among other things.
And again, it is quite shocking to see it. This is a medieval fantasy. We have this Kardashian-esque dialogue. So basically we have our crew sitting around this old creepy castle. Willow is trying to concoct a plan to rescue Graydon, who's been infected. So it's extremely easy to follow the pattern that this episode was going to take. It was going to send our fellowships to all different corners of this haunted castle. They were going to learn a little bit about each other. They were going to progress the story, and they were going to come up with a remedy for Graydon's affliction. That should have been the plan. Unfortunately, the dialogue left us down from word go.
How contagious are you talking? Like if it coughs on us, or if I touch him and then I, touch my face? All I ever wanted to be was a knight.
And with their dialogue being so bad, you would expect their individual tasks to be a little bit better, but they weren't, because you had our best character, Borman, peeking through the keyhole of a vault that he couldn't access, that there was somebody calling in from the inside.
Ah! Fiddlesticks! I hate you all!
And that was the entire episode. We had Jade and Kit that were strolling around having angsty conversations.
I know you're hurting, but you can't keep punishing yourself for doing what you had to.
We had Alora Dannon. I don't know what to say about that character. She's supposed to be the hero, I guess, but it doesn't work. We had Willow, who cemented himself as the worst actor in this cast.
The vermiscus goo. Don't sniff it, don't wipe it, don't eat it.
Why would we eat it?
And of course there's going to be comparisons made between this show and Rings of Power. To be honest with you, at this stage I would have to say that Willow is a better show. Believe it or not, it's actually better.
Are you serious?
With the Rings of Power, the emphasis was pretty much put on the amount of money and the lore, and it was supposed to be this massive spectacle, so there was so much hype and anticipation around it. There was only one way you could feel after watching it, and that was let down. But with the TV series Willow, no one wanted it, nobody was asking for it, so it was kind of forced down our mouths in terms of consumers. So it's not as offensive as Rings of Power. Now, saying that, is it good? No, it definitely isn't. It's overflowing with intersectionality and radical feminism and just complete and utter wokeness, but I find myself being less offended by it. And what happens whilst watching these episodes is that you kind of drift through it. A cognitive dissonance starts to happen. It's kind of like when you're on a long drive and you're listening to a podcast and you realize after like 35 minutes, I've missed half the podcast and I don't even know where we are here on the freeway. That's what the episodes of Willow are like, where you're 35 minutes in, we're almost at the crescendo, which again was some garbage twist that isn't even worth talking about. But you make it to that point and you go, what the hell just happened? How did I get here? And I guess that's what's going to happen with the entire series. You're going to drift and you're going to float all the way through it. And obviously when you get to the end of every episode, you've gained no more information. You've gained no more story arcs for any of the characters. But the thing that stands out the most is that you've actually endured 45 minutes of this insane modernized dialogue that has been stuffed into a medieval show. And you're kind of sitting there going, how did that happen? Who greenlit this? And how are they going to greenlit a season 2? Let me know your thoughts down below. Drop a comment, share, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.